Hello. Today I'm going to tell you something about participle clauses in a screencast. This is something new for me, so I hope you like it. You won't see me, but you will see the slides. Now let's have a look at participle clauses together. What are participle clauses? Well, here is an example of a sentence from the reading. The employer perceived the griever as largely unrepentant, and it terminated the griever's employment. Now, this is a normal sentence. You could, of course, use a clause starting with because. Yeah, so you could say, because it perceived the griever as largely unrepentant, the employer terminated the griever's employment. Or you could use a participle clause. Perceiving the griever as largely unrepentant, the employer terminated the griever's employment. As you can see, this sentence is much shorter. So if you want to be economical in your writing, use a participle clause. Here is another example. Moaning with pain, the victim was examined by a young doctor. Moaning with pain says something about the subject, the victim, and not about the doctor. So be careful when you make a participle clause. It always refers to the subject of the sentence that follows or precedes the participle clause. As you can see, in the second sentence, the young doctor is moaning with pain and not the victim. Here are some other examples of participle clauses that show you that it doesn't have to be the subject that is referred to. It can also be a part of the subject. For example, horns locked, so a body part. The two stags struggle for supremacy. Or, I crouched in the alleyway, my eyes straining in the darkness. So, my eyes is a part of my body, but it refers to I. Okay, here are some more examples. Yeah. Turning the corner, we saw the hospital in front of us. So we turned the corner and we saw the hospital in front of us. Or living in Los Angeles, Brad was one of those ever-optimistic movie wannabes. Another one, instead of saying, when he had finished his coffee, Versace began to walk back to his house, you say, having finished his coffee, Versace began to walk back to his house. Okay, and another one that shows that you can also use it after a preposition. On entering the darkened room, we noticed a strange figure huddled in the corner. Okay, now how do you make a participle clause? It's simple. You need a participle. So for example, you can use a simple participle, yeah, passive participle, yeah. Not repaired, the car didn't work. Or you can say repairing the car, yeah. Or not being repaired, the car will not work. You can also use a perfect form, yeah. Having repaired the car, the men were able to set off. Or not having been repaired, the car didn't want to start at all. So here are a few more examples with the different clauses. Now, what is the function of a participle clause? You can use it, for example, to give a reason. Here is a full sentence. She will be unable to answer your queries because he's not qualified. You can reduce that by saying, not being qualified, she will be unable to answer your queries. So it gives you a reason. Here's another one, a condition. You can say, if you treat it gently, the fabric should last for years. Or, treat it gently, the fabric should last for years. This is actually more a reduced clause. Now the next one is result. The corporation shut down the plant with the result that many workers were left unemployed. You can change it to this. The corporation shut down the plant, leaving many workers unemployed. So here are a few examples. But what about real life? I found a few more examples, for example, in a book by Robert Galbraith. You see that this is a very complex sentence, which is still easily, readable. And in the next sentence, you see a sentence from a newspaper article. So also in newspaper articles you find it a lot. Participle clauses help you condense the text. And it's a very useful feature of writing, especially when you have to write longer texts. Okay, for homework, do the page that I sent you. Thank you for listening, and I hope you liked my first try of a screencast. Have a good weekend.